Channel 5 Network. This is OpenLine.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to OpenLine. Thanks for being with us tonight. We have a great topic for you, and I sure hope that you will chime in, ask your questions, give us your thoughts. I want to hear about it. We're talking mass transit, and you know it's OpenLine, so it is your chance to call in. I have two gentlemen here with me from the Transit for Nashville Coalition. Gentlemen, thank you for being here. Let me introduce you to them. I have Clifton Harris here, and also Dick Dard. Dick, you're a local businessman. Clifton, you're with the Urban League. Yeah, great to have you guys here, but you're also with the Transit for Nashville Coalition.
Yes. Yes.
Before we jump into the what is the Let's Move Nashville plan, because we're going to do that, we're going to give you the overview here in just a couple of minutes, but I want to know about the coalition. Who makes up this coalition? You're obviously for the Let's Move Nashville plan. Just give me the what for on the coalition.
Well, the coalition is made up of 120 different organizations, from AARP to the Urban League, some of our biggest employers and some of our smallest employers, to the Predators, to the Symphony, and a lot of nonprofits and civic organizations, and our universities and colleges. So it represents over 275,000 people.
And let me ask you this, why did you sign on and say, I want to help push this plan?
Because the Urban League is about economic empowerment, helping people get jobs. And so this plan is designed to create, 3,850 jobs. And people need access to good paying jobs, because if they have access to good paying jobs, then they can solve a lot of their other problems, such as housing, transportation, daycare, and healthcare problems.
Yeah, you've had your hand on that in all of that throughout the years. I've had my hand in all that for a number of years. So you know what you're talking about. Dick, tell me why you decided this was something that you wanted to sign on to.
I decided to get involved in this because Clifton got involved. So that's
all you needed, huh?
That's all I needed to know. No, I think like Clifton, I think this is an issue that's going to affect all of us across the city. I think I've been involved. I moved to Nashville 43 years ago, and I think this issue is the biggest thing I've ever seen come across for a decision, especially a decision by the voters of Middle Tennessee, of Nashville, Davidson County. So I think that this is one of those things that comes once in a lifetime. It's a multi-generational effort. It's going to be around long after Clifton and I cross that river.
Yes,
and I think that, in fact, this project may not be over before, our statistical.
Never know.
Never know. So, but I'm saying that this is a very important project. It's a long-term project, and it's going to affect the very future of this city and where it goes. And I think May 1st is going to be one of those moments in time that we're all going to remember.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the date. May 1st is the date. If you are living in Davidson County, please circle that on your calendar. I know a lot of folks don't usually turn out for those midterm elections. There may be a few judges races on. It's always important to vote. Unfortunately, not a lot of turnout, but this is the day we decide transit in Nashville, what we're going to do in the future here. So if you want to vote, if you want your voice heard, circle the day on your calendar, make a point to get out and vote that day, because that is the mass transit referendum vote. I also want to mention before we get started here, and I want to show you the Let's Move Nashville plan, we invited the folks who are they're not liking this plan very much, the folks with no tax for tracks. We invited them on the program. We haven't worked out a date yet. We're hoping that they will come on. So if you're on that side of the camp, don't worry. We have extended the invitation, and we hope to hear from them soon. In the meantime, let's all get on the same page. Let's watch this story that Chris Conti put together about what is the Let's Move Nashville plan. Oh, I'm told it's not ready yet. We're getting callers lined up. I do want to remind you it is OpenLine. I already see the phone lines ringing. I knew this was going to be a popular topic. And the phone number is 615-737+ right there along the bottom of the screen. Okay, I'm told Andrew is on the line. Andrew, you're our first caller. Go ahead.
Yes, we have a project in West Nashville that's down by West Park that is still going on. It's supposed to be done in 2017, and it's about 2 more years in. So I don't know what the balloon package as far as the final cost, and that's going to cost. And I look long term on this, where they're saying it's $4 billion to $9 billion to. I mean, the way construction goes, that's what scares me. I'll hang up and hear your comment. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Let's lay this down. Timeline and price tag, because there are 2 different prices here that people are floating around.
Yeah, I think I want to start about 30,000 feet. And to the caller, you know, we started this plan probably 2 years ago, 2015. It just got complete in 2017, and that was a 2-year effort that was not just done by the city leaders and folks throughout the city, but we brought in some of the experts from across the country. And they weighed in on this. These are people that have had recent projects, like in Seattle, in Los Angeles, in Minneapolis, where they were involved in successful projects that came in on time, on budgets. It seems like the larger projects tend to have more attention, more professionals, and in this case, we have a lot of folks weighing in that have successful backgrounds and have accomplished a lot of projects. Now, the numbers that have been out there, I want to help with that if I can, because it has been confusing. Yeah. And I think that we've heard two numbers recently. We've heard 5.4 billion, and then we've heard 8.95 billion. Some people round it up to 9 billion. They're both the same number. The first 5.4 billion is a present day value, but since it's a 14-year project, and a 14-year project will carry with it all kinds of other costs, not just on maintenance and operational costs, but they'll also have interest, and they'll also have, you know, the interest on debt service, and they'll also have inflation. So when you weigh that into the original present day value 5.4, it's the same number, it's just extended out. I tend to use the 8.95 million because that's going to be the price tag at the end, and that's what I've kind of been using, but the 5.4 is not incorrect.
Okay.
But I think it's also important to remember, to remind our listeners, you know, that 5.4 is also going to be continued revenue over that 15-year period and stuff.
Explain that a little bit.
So we're talking about the same dollars that's going to be there now to pay for the maintenance and the interest and all the other costs that our operational cost is going to be involved. So it's a lot like when you buy your house, you know, at one cost, but then you have taxes and insurance and maintenance that you have to figure into the cost. So your real cost now becomes this number now that you need to be able to maintain your house over a certain period of time. And we're talking the same numbers here.
All right, we're going to jump to the phone lines because people are calling in with questions. Let's go to Jerry Lynn first. Hi, Jerry Lynn.
Yes, hi.
Go ahead with your question or your comment.
Yes, I was stating that this transit, that I don't feel that that's exactly the priority of what we need in this day and age with the cost of losing our children, that I think there should be our taxpaying money or any money should be, you know, put towards, allocated towards saving our children in their schools. You know, putting metal detectors in the schools and every door that's around the school, securing our children, because that transit will be here and we will not have anyone around to ride it. It will be a ghost train. Yeah. Now, that's my opinion and a few more people's opinion, and I wish they were watching so they can call in and give that. Me, myself, now I have lost a son through gun violence on my front porch, and that's just not the only reason why I'm against it, because I see it every day. Every morning you wake up, there's a kid get killed. Yeah. Then when you look into the schools, there's 20 kids getting killed, you know, with the teachers. People want to come home. People want their children to come home, you know. So I feel like, hello?
Yeah, we're here. We're listening to you, Jerry Lynn.
Okay, I feel like that money should be allocated towards putting metal detectors in the doorways, every door around the school, because that would be more feasible to me, my opinion, and plenty of other folks' opinion, because now I can say no mother wants to ever bury their child. Right. And I'm sure if you're a mother or father, whomever, brother, sister, you don't want to ever be, it's not a good feeling. Right.
Let me ask these gentlemen about this, because Jerry Lynn, you bring up a great point, and I have heard other people say this, as we have done so many stories on this transit plan over the last few months on the News Channel 5 part. People say this is a lot of money. This is a lot of money for the city to come up with, to invest, to continue to fund. We have other areas of concern as this city booms. What is your answer to that? Because she has a very good point. We have a lot of violence in the city. We have schools that are not doing so well.
She has an excellent point, and I agree with her 100%. But the truth of the matter is that the Improvement Act which was passed by legislation by the state, only allows for these funds to be used for transit. Not for putting metal detectors in schools, which I think we need to do something to protect our kids, most definitely, or affordable housing, or many of the other problems that our city is incurring because of the growth and the development. So growth and the development is a problem for transit, it's a problem for housing, it's a problem for jobs, it's a problem for the quality of life in all of our citizenry on a day-to-day basis.
And I think it's also important to remember when you look at a budget, whether it's your home budget or it's the city budget, it often looks like a pie, and there are different segments. And I know that a lot of people would like to see some of those pie wedges increase, but it can't all be for one thing.
It can't all be for one thing.
If I can chime in, we can't as a city be myopic, and I absolutely hear Jerry loud and clear. I think something's got to be done, but we have to take care of schools and we have to take care of the other things. But our city is reaching critical mass on traffic. The traffic is getting so bad and gotten so bad over the last, for example, since 2010. We've had 110,000 more cars on our roadways in this area since 2010. We have 100 people a day moving in here. And if you drove into Nashville today, that's going to be the best day ever for you from this day forward in traffic. Tomorrow's going to be worse. And in 10 years from now, there's going to be 335,000 more cars. And in 22 years, there's going to be 1 million more cars. So we have to do something now so that we're just not completely stymied by gridlock. And gridlock is something we're going to have to address, and that's what is addressed in this plan.
And it seems like we're a little bit behind in getting this moving.
We are. We are. There's
How'd
cities.
that happen?
Well, I don't want to put degrees on it, but we've kicked the can far enough down the road. And out of us, a lot of it's intentional. I think it takes a long time to plan if you're going to do it right. And that gentleman that called earlier from Memphis, it gave a good example of that. We got to do our planning right. We got to get the right people involved, and that takes years of planning, and we've done that. But all the while, Nashville, it's not anybody's fault. We're the friendliest city in America. We're the it city. A lot of people want to move here. They want to live here. They want to work here. There's opportunities. It's not just Music City, but it's one of the best cities in America to live in. It's the hottest city in America. So my point is that people moving here at such a rapid rate, we've got to understand and accommodate that, and that will only slow down if they can't get around. What good is all this live music if people can't get there to hear it?
Right, absolutely. Okay, I think it's time that we take a break. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. The phone lines are flooded. That's how I love an open line. There is so much to talk about when it comes to this mass transit. We will do it right after this break. Stay right where you are.